Welcome back, guys. Okay, so I am back now to demonstrate how we're going to do oil painting. Yay! Okay, so with the oil paints, the glazing is just about the same, okay? But a tad bit different because number one, you're using oil paint. So if you can see here, I have the colors that I'm going to use, just a small dot of them. I have in my containers, I have some glaze medium, and this glaze medium here is called Galkit, and you would need some of that. And I also have some terpenoid, and it's the odorless terpenoid so that it's not so strong here in my studio room. So in here, the containers, I have both my mediums. It's just barely a drop of each one, and I'm going to be using them instead of water. So with acrylic paint, we use water, right? Right. But with oil paints, we use the terpenoid as a thinner, right? And I have a filbert, more of a bristle style brush, but it's still soft, right? And I kind of go in between the bristle ones and the synthetic ones I use for acrylic paint. We're not supposed to do that, but I do anyway. So what I do is I get my medium loaded up on my brush as if it is water, okay? So both of them. And of course, again, I'm going to pick my lightest colors to start with first, okay? And I'm not going to paint, I need more medium. So if it's real thick, that means I need more medium and more thinner, all right? And what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to try to paint. I think my acrylic is dry enough, okay? Typically, well, most of the time, the rule is you are not to paint acrylic on top of oils, but you can paint oils on top of acrylics. I want you to notice that the vibrancy of oil paints are totally different than the vibrancy of acrylic paint. They are more bright. So see how that just really lighten up that area even more. So I'm going to water down. I'm really mixing the same colors that I did with my acrylic paint, except they're in oils. So I have my magenta here, okay? I have my blue that looks turquoise. It's called cerulean. Cerulean. I always say that wrong, but don't know why I do that, but I do. Right? And watering that down real good. I'm making that orange again with that cad yellow. Such a gorgeous color. And that magenta. All right? And I'm laying it in. Notice how thin it is. But you can see the brightness going on now. You really can. And this is the oil paints on top of the acrylics. All right. This, when we use this method, it is called, can anybody say? I'll give you a couple of minutes to tell me. When you're using different type of paints on one surface. We get it? Ding, 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 ding. Who got it? All right. Yes. It is called a mixed media. So now I'm getting even darker now. I remember my tones of colors that I had earlier. Wow, that orange is vibrant. Very vibrant. Okay, and this is my flow of that I'm trying to talk and paint, right? Really. Of egg yolk. Okay. Egg yolk is flowing down into what's going to be the river. So notice how it's a real thin glaze. This is a very easy, oh, that's pretty color right here. This is a really easy method to, especially starting out learning how to use oil paints. You do a really good glaze, really water down, putting that first layer of color on, right? Use a little white there, add my mediums. And notice with oil paints, again, I don't have any dark black on there. Of course, we can make our wood. We can make that black, okay? At all times, I do not use black. I make my blacks, all right? A little more white now. Sometimes I want you also, uh, even if you decide to use oil paints, like we made our swatches for our acrylic colors, I want you to pre-mix some colors and make your swatches for your oil paints. All right, you're going to be very happy that you did, because without a doubt, when you make those swatches of color and you mix them and you write notes down next to what you mixed, and you said, I took white and I took cad yellow and I took, what else could you say? I took magenta, and I mixed together. So the next time that you come in with needing to add on to your painting, all you have to do is read your notes on what colors you had chosen. Makes sense, right? Yes, it does. Then you don't have to try to figure it out, wasting all your paint, thinking, oh my word, I'm just never going to figure out what color I actually used again. You lost it. Well, now you're never going to lose the colors that you chose. So now, as you notice, I'm still adding those same type of colors in areas, but look how much more vibrant they are. Okay, I'm going to do a couple of more, water down. Another value is that really deep red orange. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And this again is the acrylic underneath, and now coming in with the oil colors. Do you have to do this method? No, you don't. You can simply just do the acrylic, okay? But if you love the oils, you just let me know that's what you want to do, and you follow this instructional video. And if you're an in-class student, I can help you even further, right? All right, so that's how we are going to do this assignment. Boy, I just love this color right here. As you can tell, I'm still going on and on with it, okay? I love keeping the same color family. Yes, that's what we do. We keep the same color family going on. So I'm not going to add any more colors to this palette. I'm sticking with those same colors and not changing it. I'll use some of this violet over there. I'm going to make now my number 8 and 9. Okay, I'm going to start with that 8. Watering it down really good. Okay, you can see how I did that. A little more blue. And that's going to be those number 8s. Watch this. Just hitting it hitting those number 8s. I haven't even began with the water yet. I haven't. I'm pretty much still working in around. And I'm using different textures to show how the water flows. So I'm going in a horizontal kind of a zigzag pattern. And remember from our acrylic demonstration, I know the values that I'm using because even I can take a photo of my color palette here. Once you do your swatches, you can take a color photo with your camera and you turn it to black and white. And that's going to let you know when you turn it to black and white which values are darker and which are lighter. You want to go really, really dark there and just predominantly use that dark violet. Let's make a little red, magenta with that, and blue. See how dark we can get. I might have to go a little bit darker. But that number 9 is the black. Well, really not black by itself completely, but okay. Seems to be working. Good. Keeping that nice flow. Yeah, I like that. Balancing my colors so that I can know for sure that the colors that are on in this area, I'll pull them over on the other side. The sky, I'm going to extend the sky color over here. I kind of paint just really all over the place, trying to bring in colors from different areas. And sometimes I'll skip around, and I love to skip around in my paintings, I really do. But now we're getting inside of this here yoke area, making sure, and a little bit I'll use much smaller detail brush to show those fine details from where the yoke turns and separates. Alright, but for now I can simply use this brush to kind of glaze those colors on. So again, glazing is using more medium, then you use paint, doing one thin layer at a time, predominantly mostly medium. So how you see how drippy, well, you couldn't see it all the way, but it was really, really drippy. All right. This is a mountain cliffy area, so I don't want to get too smooth. I want to be a little rough with that color there. And this is how you glaze with oil paints. Again, very similar, right, to acrylic, except you're using galkit or sometimes linseed oil, or what else do they have? Walnut oil. They have so many different mediums that you can use to get the to use for your oil paints, basically. Okay, so yeah, if you choose to do oils, or if you don't, whichever one you choose to do, sure, it's going to look beautiful. And we'll do those glazes. As this dries, what am I going to do? I'm going to start adding even more color on top. It's the same color, of course, but it'll be layered on even thicker with less medium. So every layer that I paint with, I use less and less medium and more paint. First layer, more medium. Second layer, even less medium. Third layer, if I want to go really impasto thick, I'll just use paint only. And sometimes I'll go in and even use a paint palette and scoop paint out and lay it in. You saw how I did that with the spear that I had did. So that was even fun to do as well. So once again, you can choose which medium of choice that you want to do for this assignment. If you want to do mixed media, like laying your acrylic paint down first with the color, and then as I'm doing here, going on top of that with the oil color, that's fine too. Whichever route you choose, it's totally up to you. But just remember these rules, these tips. I would say they're rules too, because I even go by them and I learned them. If you go by these tips, rules, then I'm sure you will do just fine and you will be versatile in both painting with and without, with acrylic and with oil paints. So if you have any questions after this, please raise your hand or send me a remind message so that I can, it's an ugly color right there. Oh my goodness. So that I can answer you. And remember to watch this video thoroughly because you might answer your own question. And sometimes I do that. I'll answer my own question. All right, guys. I'm going to keep painting for a second while you continue to get your supplies together, or you're probably still painting now. And I hope that this video was informational for you. Mm-hmm. 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 A little more yellow. Mm-hmm. 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 A little more each day. And eventually I'll have in here all the colors that I need to have. I don't want to do that right there. Water it down. There we go. All right, there it is, there it is. Alrighty then. I'm going to stop here because I definitely don't want to go too far, because I want to be able to paint with you guys in class. And if I keep going any further, I won't have anything to paint, right? So let me get my sky in order, and then I'll log off. How about that? It just won't feel right if my sky isn't like I want it to be. Mm. I'm going to switch over to my other brush after I lay in some of these details. I'll switch over to my more detailed brush to get in some more of the fine lines, okay, in those details. It's like a stormy, cloudy look. I love these colors. They're really vibrant. All right, and also some of that sky is hitting on the heel, which is really my hand. All right. I'm gonna wash those out later. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and pull in some light tones before it gets where I can't. And I pull that white in some. I noticed that with white, lighter colors, you can lay on a little thicker than the dark colors when you're dealing with oil paints, okay? You can do that. What time we got? Going a little over for this one. So, won't need to stop. I mean, you know, when you're having fun painting, you just don't want to stop, do you? Now come in. All right. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Don't you love when that happens? I'm going to define the cracks a little better, and I'm going to add more shadows for those cracks. And if I'm going to get my thin brush so I can show you how once you add those shadows in, the thin brush I can use right here. All right. Once you add the shadow color, hard lines, lay it and kind of leave it really hard using darker colors. I'm a high saturation type of artist where I love uh, using saturated colors, really strong colors. You might be a softer type person when you're adding some whites and more pastel colors. There's no right or wrong to the color palette that you choose, okay? So you can see how that really there made a big difference in the hard edges showing, the cracks of the egg. Got thicker and thicker as it dried, right? All right, I'm going to stop right there. And if you have any questions, let me know. And happy painting. Bye bye.